Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Saturday, May 31st, 2025. Now, if you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Put your baseball picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily rundown best bet in Major League Baseball, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alright, here we go. Here are the games for Saturday in baseball. First up, we've got the Cincinnati Reds taking on the Chicago Cubs. We've got Nick Lodolo and Ben Brown as the starters. Now, we saw the same pitching matchup last week at Great American, and while Brown struggled and the Reds took the early lead, the Cubs ended up coming back and winning and covering the run line in that game, 11-8 the final. And Brown, he struggled in that game early with his control. He had a couple of outs in the first inning and then wasn't able to get out of that first inning, giving up some extra runs. And it just seemed like, while the numbers on paper, obviously in his last two games, do not look good, 9 innings, 14 runs, and 2 home runs, I do think he is a lot better than his current ERA. The expected numbers would tell you that. And he's got 62 strikeouts and 50 innings of work. I think he is going to be able to bounce back from that tough outing, and I think he's the better option in this game because Lodolo also wasn't sharp in that start against the Cubs. The Cubs have been great against left-handed pitching, and I think the Cubs, while their bullpen may not be my favorite, I still think they have the bullpen advantage in this game, and I think their lineup we saw in that series at Great American, the Reds bullpen just got crushed. The Cubs were never out of a game in that series, and even if they trail early in this one, I could see them storming back. So I like the Cubs in this one on the money line and the run line. Next up, we've got the Athletics and the Blue Jays. We've got Gunnar Hoagland for the A's, no official starter for Toronto. I'm going to lean towards the Blue Jays in this one. We see that Hoagland's struggling as of late. And, in general, the A's have not been their best in the last couple of weeks. The rotation's not been the strongest. The lineup, the bullpen. So Hoagland, his last start against the Phillies, it was a win for the A's, 5-4, but it was still 5 innings, 3 runs, 3 walks, only 2 strikeouts. He was excellent in his Major League debut. He was pretty solid in the next start as well. But his last 3 games have just not been the sharpest, and I worry about that control in this one. So I'm going to roll the Blue Jays in the money line at the Rogers Center. Next up, we got the Chicago White Sox taking on the Baltimore Orioles. We've got Davis Martin and Dean Kramer as the starters. Davis Martin's got a 3.45 ERA on the season, but the expected numbers are very steep, and I do worry about regression going forward. I actually think that even though Kramer's got the steeper ERA on the year, I think he's the better option in this game. I like the fact that he's coming off one of his best starts of the season, 5 1/3 innings of shutout baseball, of 4 strikeouts, and a 5-1 Orioles win. I think the Orioles are going to back him up in this game offensively. While I think it's going to be a higher scoring game overall, I think the Orioles end up winning it and covering the run line. So it's going to be Baltimore laying the 1.5 runs in this one. Next up, the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. We got Jesus Luzardo and Chad Patrick as the starters. Now, in the month of May, the Brewers have not been great against left-handed pitching, and I don't love their matchup here against Luzardo, who's been one of the better lefties in Major League Baseball. Now, his last game, he gave up 9 base hits. It wasn't his best start, but I think he bounces back in this one. He's still got great strikeout numbers on the season and as of late. And I've mentioned I do think Patrick regresses as the season continues. This Phillies lineup has been a little bit inconsistent for me in the last couple of series, but I think they do enough damage to win this game and cover the run line at Citizens Bank Park. Next up, we got the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Texas Rangers. We got Sonny Gray going for St. Louis. No official starter right now for the Rangers, but I am seeing Patrick Corbin listed on ESPN, so he could very well be the option for the Rangers. And I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. We've seen a lot of unders this season for the Rangers, and we've seen a lot of unders for the Rangers in their most recent series. Gray's got good numbers against the current Rangers lineup. The Cardinals against lefties in the month of May have not had anything special in terms of their numbers. Team OPS below 700, strikeout rate above 23%. So if Corbin is a starter, he's actually pitched pretty well so far this season with a sub-4 ERA. I think both these bullpens are okay, so I'm going to go with the under in Cardinals-Rangers and a lean towards the Cardinals on the money line. Next up, we got the Angels and the Guardians. We've got Kyle Hendricks and Slade Cecconi as the projected starters. Now, the Angels in the month of May against righties, team OPS at 732, which is, right around league average. Strikeout rate is really steep, but the power numbers are where this team is really, excelling. Top 5 in isolated power against righties in May. And, Slade Cecconi has pitched well so far, but at times in his career, both in the minors and the majors, he's had issues with the home run ball, and we've seen him give up at least one in his first 2 starts this year. I could see the Angels getting to him for a couple of runs and extra base hits in this game, and then it comes down to, can Kyle Hendricks be good enough for the Angels to have a good enough lead in the middle innings and hold on to that lead with a not-so-great bullpen. And I think that's going to be the case. Hendricks has not been great on the road, but he's been better as of late. When you look at his last 5 starts or so, he's given up 3 runs or fewer in 4 of his last 5 starts. He's starting to miss some more bats. His control's been good. I'm going to lean towards the Angels in this one at a pretty good price on the money line on the road. Next up, we got the Boston Red Sox taking on the Atlanta Braves. You got Walker Buehler and Spencer Schwellenbach as the starters. Now, I talked about how going into the season, Schwellenbach was one of the starting pitchers I was really high on, expected big things from him in 2025, and we saw that in his first few games. He was excellent. Now, towards the end of April, beginning of May, I saw some outings where he was giving up a lot of base runners. The 6 runs given up against the Dodgers on May the 3rd. His strikeout numbers were going down a little bit. We saw against these Red Sox and the Nationals in back-to-back starts while he went 7+ innings. He only had 6 strikeouts in 13 innings of work, and those were concerning for me. But I like the fact that in his last game, he was able to go 7 innings again against the Padres, and while he gave up 2 home runs, he had no walks given up and 11 strikeouts to go with it. He was starting to miss those bats again against a team that's not really that easy to strike out in San Diego. So I think that that's a step in the right direction for Schwellenbach. I think he's going to be the better option in this game. Now, Walker Buehler did not face the Braves in that series at Fenway. You could make the argument that he has the advantage. Again, Schwellenbach just faced this Red Sox lineup not too long ago. Buehler didn't have to face the Braves, but Buehler's last start against the Orioles was not his best. 5 innings, 2 runs, a homer, 2 walks, only 3 strikeouts. I'm going to go with the Braves in this one. I trust their bullpen. I think Schwellenbach's a better option. Give me the Braves. Next up, we've got the New York Mets and the Colorado Rockies. We've got Antonio Senzatella and Kodai Senga as the starters. Now, for me, this is a no-bet game. I don't think there's any value in a game like this. I think the Mets will win. I think they may be able to cover the run line, but I don't think that the price is worth the risk because I think regression is inevitable for Kodai Senga. He has not had his best stuff in 3 of his last 4 starts. The numbers on paper wouldn't tell you that, but he's walked a lot of batters. He's gotten into a lot of jams, and he's been able to get out of those jams, which is great. Any starting pitcher would like to do that, but you just can't be living with, second and third, nobody out in the first inning of a game like last time against the Dodgers and expect to not get crushed. It was a big double play made by Tyrone Taylor in the outfield to keep the Dodgers off the board even more after the Shohei Ohtani home run. Senga was able to settle down after that bad inning, but he's given up 3+ walks in 4 of his last 5 games. His strikeout numbers have been fine, but not overpowering. And he's still somebody that I think, when you look at his 1.46 ERA, his expected ERA is almost 2 runs steeper than that. I think he is going to be in trouble at some point. Now, it's the Rockies. They're not a great lineup in general, especially on the road. And you got Antonio Senzatella on the other side. So that's why I still think the Mets will find a way to win, and even if Senga isn't his best. But for me, I would just say watch out for Senga going forward. I think he'll be a good option in this Mets rotation. It's the best option, as a starting pitcher, but not a sub-2 ERA guy. Next up, we got the San Francisco Giants taking on the Miami Marlins. We got Robbie Ray and Edward Cabrera as the starters. I like the under in this game. The Marlins have not been the best against lefties in the month of May. Ray's been one of the best lefties in the National League and a winning machine so far for San Francisco. Edward Cabrera, I've mentioned a lot of upside to his game. His ERA is steep on paper, but he's been solid as of late. We had a great outing with him, 5 2/3, 10 strikeouts against the Angels in his last start. The Marlins have won his last 3 games, and he's given up 3 runs or fewer in all 3 of those starts with good strikeout numbers to go with it. Give me the under in Giants-Marlins in this one. Next up, we got the Detroit Tigers taking on the Kansas City Royals in the American League Central. We've got Tarek Skubal and Michael Wacha as the starters. Now, Skubal in the month of May has just been incredible. 34 innings, 52 strikeouts, a 2.65 ERA. The Tigers are 5-0 in his starts in the month of May, and they've won 8 of his last 9 games. Very tough to go against the Tigers with Skubal on the mound right now, especially after that complete game shutout in his last game. 9 innings of no-run baseball, of course, with no walks and 13 strikeouts in that 5-0 win. The thing is, the Royals have actually been one of those teams in the last couple of years that's done a little bit more damage against Skubal than most teams. So far this year, we saw 1 game against at Comerica Park on April 20th. 5 innings, 2 runs, 7 base hits in that game, only 4 strikeouts. Ended up being a Royals win, 4-3 the final. And last year, we saw a couple of games where the Royals did some damage against Skubal. So I don't think it's going to be a perfect outing. I don't think it's going to be a complete game shutout. But I still think Skubal will be good enough. I think the Tigers can get to Wacha, who they've actually got pretty good numbers against in terms of the current Tigers lineup. And I'm going to take the Tigers in this one on the money line on the road. Next up, we got the Tampa Bay Rays and the Houston Astros. We got Colton Gordon and Zach Littell as the starters. Littell has been a winning machine for Tampa Bay as of late. They've won his last 5 starts, including a game against these Houston Astros on May the 20th. He's given up 3 runs or fewer in 5 straight games. Does give up a lot of sharp contact, a lot of home runs, but he's been able to get through these outings, go deep into ball games, and give the Rays a good chance to win. They've backed him up in the run support department. I think they will again here against Gordon, who's not been the strongest so far this season, even though the Astros have won his games. I'm rolling with the Rays in this one on the money line on the road. Next up, the Minnesota Twins and the Seattle Mariners. We got Bailey Ober and Bryce Miller as the starters. For me, I got to roll the Twins in this game because Bryce Miller has struggled this season. He's coming back from the injury, hasn't pitched in over 2 weeks. He gave up 11 runs in the last 2 starts before the injury. You got Bailey Ober on the other side, who's been excellent as of late, giving up 2 runs or fewer in 4 of his last 5 games. He had a miserable start to the season with that first game against the Cardinals, but since then has been one of the best pitchers in the American League, has a sub 2.5 ERA in the month of May in 25 innings. I got to roll with the Twins in this one on the money line on the road. Next up, we got the Yankees and the Dodgers. We've got Will Warren and Landon Knack as the starters. Now, I mentioned I was a little bit worried about Will Warren going into his last start at Coors Field, his Coors Field debut, but he actually pitched pretty well. I mean, 4 innings, 2 runs, 7 strikeouts. Obviously didn't pitch deep into the ball game, but gave the Yankees a chance to win. They still missed a lot of bats, and they ended up winning that game 5-4, and they've won his last 4 starts now. I think they win another one. I'm going to go with 5 straight for the Yankees with Warren. He is just pitching well, 7+ strikeouts in 5 straight games, 67 Ks in 50 2/3 innings. And, sometimes we see, great strikeout starting pitchers struggle with the control, struggle with the home run ball. And while the walks piled up at the beginning of the year, he's given up 2 walks or fewer in 4 straight games, 1 walk or fewer in 3 of the 4. And he hasn't given up a home run in 4 straight outings, so only 4 overall this season. Landon Knack on the other side is just not a really great option, in my opinion, for the Dodgers in this rotation. He was okay against the Mets in his last start, but I still, I watched that game. A lot of pitches down the heart of the plate that I think the Yankees lineup would be a lot more suited to do damage with than the Mets lineup that's just been a little bit inconsistent as of late. So I'm going to roll with the Yankees on the money line in this one on the road. Next up, we got the Pittsburgh Pirates taking on the San Diego Padres. We got Bailey Falter and Dylan Cease as the starters. Now, in the month of May, the Padres have not been great against left-handed pitching, where they're ranked 20th in isolated power and only .625 team OPS. Strikeout rate and walk rate not as good as what we've seen at the beginning of the year. And, Bailey Falter's in good form right now. He's not been great on the road this season, but the Pirates have won 3 of his last 4 games, and the 2 losses that they've had in the last 5 games, 6-5 and 2-1, were 1-run contests where they would have covered the run line. And one of those games was against the San Diego Padres, a 2-1 final score where Falter went 7 innings of 1-run ball with 6 strikeouts. And I think that the Pirates should be able to score 2-3 runs off of Cease, who's just not at his best stuff this season. He's been better as of late, but even his last game, 5 innings, 3 runs. I think if the Pirates can do something like that, score 2-3 runs in the first 5 innings, should be enough for a run line cover in a low-scoring game. Give me the Pirates here plus the 1.5 on the money line. And the final game we're going to talk about for the Saturday card in Major League Baseball, it's the Washington Nationals and the Arizona Diamondbacks. We have Michael Soroka and Brandon Pfaadt as the starting pitchers in this one. Now, Brandon Pfaadt was just 1 out shy of a quality start in his last game, but he's given up a lot of sharp contact recently. 5 home runs his last 3 starts combined, 7 home runs in his last 5. And while his ERA is sub-4, the expected numbers aren't the sharpest for him. It's the opposite for Mike Soroka, who's got a 5.61 ERA, but a 3.62 expected ERA, about 2 runs lower than that current ERA, and a 3.44 xFIP, even better. I think Soroka's actually pitched pretty well this season, despite those numbers on paper. And while I don't love this Nationals bullpen, we've seen that Diamondbacks bullpen also not be the strongest in the last couple of weeks. I know that Pirates game is still, hurting some people from last week with the 6-0 blown lead. So I'm going to take the Nationals in this one at a great price on the money line. I think the value lies with Washington. And that's it. Those are the games for Saturday in Major League Baseball. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium, and there is a link in the description. As always, Romanelli, good luck.